So today's topic is Azure Virtual Machine. Okay. Yesterday we already learned what all classes of what all families of virtual machines we have. Correct, right? And what is the size, what is upscaling, what is downscaling, all the some of the new keywords or new words we have learned and we understood what exactly all those. So today I want to show you more. I mean, how can you create a virtual machine in the Azure portal, and what are all many options you'll get. There are many options are there, and I want to tell you. I mean, what is all. What are all the each and every steps I would like to show you today. Okay. So before I get into that, I wanted to explain you a little bit about the hierarchy in the Azure. Okay. So if somebody asks you what is a hierarchy in the cloud, right? No matter whether it is Azure or any other cloud provider, okay, the hierarchy is the first is tenant. The first and foremost thing is tenant. I mean, as soon as uh, as soon as you buy a subscription in the cloud, okay, so you will get a tenant. That is the first and foremost hierarchy. So one tenant can have multiple subscriptions. If you have a single tenant, you can have n number of subscriptions or n number of accounts in case of AWS. Okay, so it can have n number of subscriptions. Okay, maybe this is subscription 1, this is subscription 2, this is subscription 3, and this is subscription 4. Like that, every company will have at least a single tenant, and under the single tenant you can have multiple subscriptions. Okay, why do you want to have a separate subscriptions? Because most of the peoples will go with tenant and subscription with multiple subscriptions. Why? Because they wanted to segregate their workloads. So say for example you are working in an organization called Microsoft. So Microsoft has a single tenant, and Microsoft has got their multiple departments and multiple applications there. So each and every applications will be built in the development environment. Okay, and then that will be done the testing with in the testing environment, then the regression, then the lastly the production. Okay, so what Microsoft wanted to achieve is they wanted to segregate their workload based on the environment. So what they wanted to do, they will buy one subscription and they will only deploy the development workloads there, and they will buy one more subscription. They will move whatever developed applications are there. If they want to test that applications, they will move that to the test subscription, and whatever application servers are there, then in that server they will install the applications or they deploy the applications, and they will do the test no actual testings, functionality testing. Then they will move that code to the regression. So regression is the replica of the production. Okay, regression is the replica of the production, so it is almost similar to the production one. So what they will do in the regression environment, they will do all the load test, functional test, there are multiple testings they will be conducted before they move the code to the production. Okay, and they will move the code finally, they will call it as go live, and they will move the code to the production. So what they wanted to achieve is they wanted to isolate their each and every environment with the production one. So what they will do, for the development environment, they don't want to go with the standard applications and the standard virtual machines, because standard applications and standard web apps or standard the virtual machines will be of more cost. Say for example, you have built an application server with 4 CPU and 8 gig memory. Okay, so if this cost like 1000 rupees in the production environment, if you go with dev and test subscription, you will only pay around 200 rupees. So there Microsoft will give you the benefits of dev and test subscription workloads. Okay, so that is why what they will do, instead of just for creation of the application and doing the testing, why should I go buy the standard VMs? I can go for a dev test subscription and do the and get the things done, because that saves about 80% of the cost. So that is why what they will do, they will segregate their each and every environment in a separate subscription, and they wanted to see how much I am incurring the cost for the development, how much I am incurring the cost for the testing regression. So when they create a separate subscription, the billing will also happen based on the subscription, and they will give the clear cut information on the cost they are investing there. That is why they create this tenant system. Under the tenant there is subscriptions. Okay, so subscriptions means single tenant can have multiple subscriptions. See, it is not necessarily a company should have only one tenant. A company can have one tenant or multiple tenants also, but one tenant can have multiple subscriptions. Okay, so tenant is a different hierarchy. So if I call your village as a village, okay, it will have a name. So if I ask you, I mean, if a localite ask you your village name or your area name, you will exactly tell your name. Say for example, Bengaluru. If you consider Bangalore, so if somebody asks you the Bangalore and ask you, you will tell, okay, I'm Maruti Mandir, Jayanagar or Vijayanagar. You will tell. But if a person from Chennai or Andhra, if they ask, you will only tell Bangalore, because that is the identifiable parameter, correct? Huh? So that is why this tenanting and subscriptions are segregated. Okay, so now tenant is the supermost hierarchy. Under that you have subscription, that is the second level of hierarchy. And then third one is your resource group. So resource group is the third hierarchy. Okay, this resource group is nothing but it's a kind of container. See, normally when you go for shopping, you will first, as soon as you enter to the shopping complex, okay, you to buy groceries or whatever, you will take the cart. Why? Whatever you do the shopping, right, you can keep those things in that cart, and you can move the cart here and there, and that will make you ease of your shopping experience. It is easy to carry, it is easy to know or move from this place to that place. So basically it is all about the management, it is all about the handling the things. Okay, so what you will do, whenever you create a resource in the Azure portal, you have to keep that resources in a container, and that container is nothing but the resource group. As the name itself is telling you, resource group means the group of resources can be placed in a container, and that container or the space holder is called as resource group. I'll explain you, I'll show you that. Okay, and then we have the lastly we have this VNet. VNet is nothing but it is virtual network. Okay, VNet is nothing but virtual network. So in the VNet is nothing but it's virtual network. Virtual network is nothing but it's a LAN concept in your on premises. Okay, so if you have an office, a small office in your if you have a small office, right, so you will have a LAN setup. I mean, you will have your router, you will have your switch, and all the computers are connected to one switch, and that switch will be connected to the router, right? So it is a LAN setup. So computer one can talk to the computer 10, computer 10 can talk to the remaining computer 9, right? So that is the LAN setup. So in the on-premises, we will call this VNet as LAN, local area network. But in case of cloud, we will call it as virtual network, because it's a network which you cannot see, which you cannot feel, you can only imagine. It is an imaginary concept. That is the reason we will call it as virtual network. Okay, see, if you want to build a virtual machine, the in the cloud, the basic things you required is you need a subscription. Okay, I'll come back to that. Now you understand tenant, subscription, resource group, and the VNet. So these four information is mandatorily you need to build a virtual machine in the cloud. Okay, as soon as you log into the portal, see, let me take you to the portal. See, this is my Azure subscription. My tenant is default directory. It's a Beamright tenant actually. Okay, so he has given me access. So if you look at the tenant, okay, this is my tenant. If you see, this is my default directory, your country, your tenant ID is this one. This is my tenant actually. Okay, so it is still loading. Okay, and this tenant will have subscription. So single tenant can have multiple subscriptions. You see here, it's a free trial subscription created by Beambra. He has given me access. Okay, and this has got couple of something. See, it has got about 16,700 credits, and it is actually a free trial subscription. And see, it is asking me to upgrade this to pay as you go subscription. Means he has just created a free trial subscription which is valid for 30 days, and it has got about 16,700 credits. So I can use the 16,700 credits in a month of time or 30 days of time from the date this subscription got created. Oh, this is about the subscription. And then this subscription will have an option called resource group. See, if you go to the resource group, see, I went to the resource group here, and it is asking me to create a resource group. Now I'll show you how can you create a resource group. Okay, click on this create a new resource group. As soon as I click on the create a resource group, it is asking me to select a subscription. I am having only one subscription as of now. It is my free trial subscription. Okay, so if in case in the real time, if you log in here in the subscription option, you may have n number of subscriptions. You may have test subscription, may have production subscription, you may have regression subscription, or you have subscriptions in different names also. Maybe region wise, Western Europe one subscription, Asia separate subscription, and India separate subscription, US separate subscription. Correct, right? Like that, you may have separate subscription. It is all depends upon the company's strategy and the company how the company is spread across. Okay, how the costing is getting divided. Depend upon that, they will create the subscriptions. So in my case, I will select the free trial subscription, and then it is asking me to give the name for the subscription, resource group. See, in the cloud, right, the naming convention is very important. Okay, as soon as you read the name of that particular resource, you will be able to understand what is that resource is all about. So now if I create a test resource group, I will create like this: test rg01. See, anybody read this name, they will understand, oh, this is a resource group created for some testing purposes. Correct, right? This is how the naming convention will be there. I'll show you other resources also. Okay, so test rg01, where you want to build. I told you already, there are 52 regions are there in Azure across the globe. The entire world, Microsoft has put around 52 places. They have put their own data centers, and each and every data center has got three availability zones. Means three different physical data centers which are segregated or separated by at least 200 to 250 kilometers. I told you, I'll show you that. Okay, so let me select, maybe I'll put it in the Western Europe, because Western Europe will always help you to build. All the resources are available in the Western Europe. Okay, let me select Western Europe. Now see, subscription you have selected, resource group you have selected, and the region is Western Europe. And next, you have an option to take it next, and it is asking me to create the tags. See, tags are nothing but like every item. Say for example, if you want to go for a shopping, each and every item has got its own tags. The tag will tell you what is the brand, what is the price, and few other product related information will be there. Similarly, when you are creating a resource in the cloud, okay, to identify the the resource, what is this resource, who has deployed, which application this resource belongs to, you can also do the taggings. Say for example, now this application name, okay, application is maybe some e-commerce. Okay, and I'm adding application owner. Okay, so like this. Now if anybody look at this resource, and if they go to the tags, they'll understand, oh, this application is belongs to some e-commerce application, and the application owner is Sanju. You can reach out to the Sanju to get more information. Otherwise, you will end up clueless, because in the cloud there are lot many resources are there. Okay, 7,000, 10,000, 15,000 resources will be there. You don't know, you will be like clueless if you don't have the tagging. So tagging is very important. Okay, so you can give this value and say create. See, validation is passed, and you clicking on create, you can see the build is now starting, the resource group is created. Now you see it has got a resource group, but it doesn't have any resource. See, it does not have any resources. If you look at here, see, showing 0 of 0 records, doesn't have any resource. So this is how you create the resource group. Now I told you, now you know tenant, now you know subscription, and under the subscription I have created a test resource group. Now let me create a virtual network, because I see, to build a computer, to keep it in the network, I should have network, some IP address I needed, right? So now let me create the virtual network. If you type VNet, see, virtual network, I can see the virtual networks here. Now, like the way you created the resource group, you can even create the virtual network. Click on create. One second. So now I clicked on create virtual network. Okay. See, now as soon as I go to the basics, I mean the create a virtual network, it is asking me to select the subscription. As usual, it's a free trial subscription, and it is asking me to select the resource group. If you see, the test-rg01 is already populated. In my case, I am having only one resource group. That is the reason it has selected that one. In the real-time environment, it will have n number of resource group. You have to type whatever you wanted, like this. Or if you don't have any resource group, you can click on the create new resource group, and you can just give test rg02 example. See, it got created. It got created. Now you see there are two resource groups, but I don't want to keep the resources in the rg02. I want to keep it in the rg01. Let me select the rg01, and now it is asking me to give the name of the virtual network. It is a LAN, it is an imaginary network in the cloud, I already told you. Okay, now let me put the name. It is VNet 01, or you can put test. It's okay, let me put it as VNet 01 only, no problem. And in which region it is needed? I need in the Western Europe only. Okay, so now now I'm clicking on the next option. So it is asking me some security related informations, how the encryption, how do you want to encrypt, means the data within the network, or within the between the network, if you want to send the, or if you want to exchange the data, how the data should be exchanged, whether you should have an encryption. Already data is encrypted. If you want more security, you can opt all these options actually. Okay, or if you want to log in with Azure Bastion, you can click on that, or Azure Firewall, you can select that. For now, I don't want to do anything. I want to simply just go and create the VNet. I don't want to opt any options in the security. Let me click on next and go to the IP addresses. Now you see here, most of the people are already attended my IP address classes. Okay, so it is left to you. You can create whatever IP ranges that you needed. Okay, and the CIDR value also. Okay, see, it is a /16 network, means you will have around 65,536 resources can be deployed in the cloud if you have /16 network. Okay, normally most of the companies will go with a /16 network only. So they will have a broader VNet, and they will create multiple subnets, small subnets within the VNets. Okay, so now let me go with 10.0.0.0 only as my VNet, the length of the /16 network as a VNet. Then I will delete this one, and I will add a subnet. Okay, the subnet name I will give as it is my subnet 01. Okay, let me put it as 10.0.0.0 slash 24. So slash 24 means it is, right? See, if you want more number of networks, less number of computers, I already told you, right? So slash 24 means it has got around 256, means 8 3 octets are reserved for the network, only 1 octet 8 bit is reserved for the uh, IP addresses. Okay, so since I am putting 10.0.0.0 slash 24, I will only have 256 IP addresses. In that, 3 to 4 address you cannot use. And the first IP address is like 10.0.0.1, and second is 10.0.0.2. Similarly, it will go to 10.0.0.254 and 255. That is your last IP address. Okay, so let me see any other options. I don't want to enable the NAT gateway, it's okay. So let me add this subnet, and you can see the tags. If you want to see the tags, application, select, see, this is ecom application, and application owner is Sanju. Okay, now you can say next, and you can review, and you can create the virtual network. So this, each and every component I'm creating separately to give you that feel. Okay, but while creating the virtual machine, even if you are not selecting, by default it gets created. But I wanted to show you how you will separately create each and every resources, and then while building the VM, it is easy for you, because in the real time you don't create all these things. Already things will be there. Maybe VNet and subnet will all be already be there. You will just create a resource group and the VM, or maybe in the existing VNet and resource group only you will create a VM. Okay, so I'll show you in 2-3 minutes how to create a VM. So the validation is submitted for the creation. See, now the deployment is completed, and you can click on go to the resources. Okay, now if you see, a VNet got created, and if you look at the name of the VNet, it is VNet 01. And if you look at the resource group, it is inside the test -rg01. Location is Western Europe. Subscription is free trial subscription, and you are having the subscription ID. And address space, if you see, it is 10.0.0/16. Okay, and if you want to see the subnet, here you can go to the subnets in the left. The blade you have under the settings, you have a blade called subnets, and you see there is a subnet 01, and it is 10.0.0./24. So total 254 IP address for there. I told you 3 address you cannot use. The first and the last 2 IP address you cannot use, because it is reserved for the Azure purposes. Okay, to enable the connection between the routers there in the Azure data center, and you can only have 251 IP address used here. Okay, so now you are ready with the resource group, and now you are ready with the VNet also. Okay, now let me build a virtual machine. Okay, so how to build a virtual machine? This is your global search, right? Now you go here and type virtual machine. You get this virtual machine service option here. Click on that virtual machine, and likewise we did the resource group and the VNet, right? You can click on this create a virtual machine, and select what kind of things you wanted to create. You want to create an Azure virtual machine, or you want to no create Azure virtual machine with preset configuration, or you want more VMs related solutions. So normally we create, this is what the Azure virtual machine. Click on this Azure virtual machine, and the deployment wizard gets opened. As usual, you will have multiple blades here. See, you have basic, you have disk option, networking, management, monitoring, advanced, tags, and review. So let me go to the basic option here. Okay, so here, as usual, it will ask you the first and foremost thing, it will ask you to build a, I mean, select the free, I mean, subscription. You can select your free trial subscription here, and then it is asking you to select the resource group or to create a resource group. I don't want to create a resource group. I already have this test RG01. Let me select this test RG01. Okay, now I have the subscription, I have the resource group. Now I have to give a name to the virtual machine. This is my test iPhone VM01. It is not RG, it is not VNET, it is a virtual machine. See, look at the naming convention. So some people, they will include the country also, like Western Europe, iPhone test iPhone VM01. Northern Europe, any iPhone test iPhone VM01. US test VM01. So it is all the naming convention. Okay, it is all the naming convention. So you have to keep it in mind. You have to understand what is the naming convention. See, as soon as you go to the work, you have to understand these kind of small minute things. See, nobody will ask you to create a VM in the day one. Nobody will ask you to trigger the backup in the day one. But you should be understand the etiquettes of the organization and do's and don'ts of the organization. Then you have to ask these kind of things. You need to ask what is the subnet range in the cloud, what is the subnet, I mean, network range in the on premises, because there should not be coincidence. I mean, there should not be, you should not have the same range of network in the on premises and the cloud. In the on premises, if you're having 10.0.0.0 slash 16, in the on premises you should have maybe 172.16.0.0 slash 16. So both the places the network should be different. This is the very important question people will ask in the interviews. Okay, keep it in mind. So now let me select, I have given the name. Let me select the region. It is Western Europe already selected, because our resource group I have selected means by default this RG gets select, resource group location will be selected region. So now availability option. This is what I was telling you. See, if you go to the availability option, if you hover the cursor, it tells you Azure offers a range of options for managing availability and resiliency for your applications. So architect your application or solution to use replicated VMs in the availability zones or availability set to protect your apps and data from the data center outages and maintenance events. That's what I told you. I told you yesterday what? It will give you the data center resiliency or the data center crash also. You will have multiple VM. See, if you select availability zone, okay, if you set availability zone, it is asking you where you want to keep the virtual machine. You want to keep it in zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Consider you have an application called Facebook, and that application is behind the load balancer. Let me take you here. So imagine you have an application. This is application. This is facebook.com. So this is an application people will try to access. Okay, and this is a load balancer, guys. This is a load balancer. Okay, this is a load balancer. Okay, so now you have three virtual machines. Say for example, VM01, VM02, VM03. So all these applications are added behind the load balancer. Okay. So when the users are hit here, okay, when the users are trying to access the application, right? So they will hit this load balancer www.facebook.com, www.facebook.com, www.facebook.com. Okay. Then this load balancer will decide which request to send which computer. Okay, so it has got some algorithm, that algorithm called 5 tuple hashing algorithm, 5 tuple hashing algorithm. I will explain all these things in the later stage, but you should have an idea now. So when the pupils are hitting the load balancer, and behind the load balancer we have virtual machine, this load balancer will send one query to this VM01, one query to this VM02, one query to this VM03, because all these are replicated VMs and they will have a common database. Say for example, if I have a database here, so this behind this load balancer, they share the common database. So then if the users is trying to access an application, the database is coming from the common source, but the applications are coming from the different VMs which are behind the load balancer. So what Microsoft is telling, this you keep it in the availability zone 1. So this is availability zone 1, this is availability zone 2, this is availability zone 3. So I told you yesterday, you keep one VM in Bangalore, another one is Mysore, third one is in what is that? Mangalore. In the Mangalore data center, due to tsunami, this data center get crashed or collapsed. Then you still have two VMs in the Bangalore and the Mysore data center. From here, this load balancer will stop sending the request to this VM03 because it will understand it is unhealthy, and it will start sending the application to this VM01 and VM02. So here what you are achieving with this availability zone, you are achieving the data center resiliency. Means even if the data center get crashed also, you have two application servers in two other different physical data center under the same region. This is what I was explaining you, the availability zones option. Looks, there is a question. Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Sir, your database is there. That is only one, or that is also a multiple
No, no.
or
Sometimes it is
duplicate?
normally database will be single only, but this database will again having the resiliency. Like we will replicate this in the DR region. Okay. This is Western Europe. No, this is Northern Europe. So here it will have always synchronization. Sometimes we have multiple data center also, primary, secondary. Sorry, multiple database also, primary and secondary. Okay. So
Same
again,
duplicate data, sir.
not duplicate, replicated.
Replicate. Okay.
Yeah, you will have the replicated database. Okay. So that is also behind the load balancer sometimes. Okay, so this is what I was explaining here. So what you do while building the VM, you will select the availability zone 1 for VM01. When you are building the VM02, you select zone 2. When you are building the VM03, you will select zone 3. But all these three VMs are behind the load balancer, like I mentioned here. Okay, so now let me select the zone 1 here, and then it is asking me to type the security types. It is, let me go with the standard one, and then you have to select the image VM. This is called as marketplace, guys. Whatever VMs you can see here, this images, whatever you see here, see, uh, here you see Ubuntu, you have Red Hat, Oracle, Windows Server 2022, 19, 16, Windows 10 Pro, and if you look at see all the images, you will get plethora of options here. You will have n number of VMs which you don't know, operating system, okay, which you are not aware of also. See, there are so many things are there. Red Hat is there, Windows multi-session, Microsoft 365 applications, CentOS. There are many are there, but whatever operating system you see here, these are all up to date. These are all vulnerability free. Vulnerability free images. Okay, so you can select. In my case, I would like to deploy a server 2022 data center. This one, a Windows Server 2022 data center with 64-bit Gen 2. Okay. Let me select that one. Then it is asking what kind of VM architecture. By default it is 64-bit, so it will be selected, and then it is asking me to select the size. See, yesterday I told you, when I talk about the size of the virtual machine in the cloud, it is only CPU and memory, not other things. If you want graphics card, additional cost. If you want additional D drive, E drive, that is additional cost. But if somebody talks about the compute or the VM or the size in the cloud, it is only CPU and memory. That's all. See here, if I go here, if I select the sizes, right? Let me other series sizes available. I don't know why it is not giving me the sizes here. Let me close this one. There is not a, see, this size is not available in zone 1. So what I will do, let me select here, instead of zone 1, let me keep it in the zone 2. Now if I see, see, I can see that. So I told zone is nothing but a different data center. Maybe there I don't have any free. It's a free trial subscription, right? Whatever excess of VMs are there, Microsoft will allocate to me now. So since I've selected the I mean zone 1, it was not giving me an option. I mean there was no facility or no free VMs were available. As soon as I changed to zone 2, I can see the sizes. See, I can see this. There are multiple sizes of the VMC. If it is a DS1 V2, it is one CPU, 3.5 gig of memory. If it is a DS3 V3, it has got two CPU and 8 GB memory. If it is B2S, multiple sizes you can see here. But what I will do, let me go with 2 CPU and 4 GB memory, B2S. And if you look at the price, it is only around 3,400 rupees per month. See here, 3,400 rupees per month cost. That too, if you run 24 bar 7 round the clock. If you run your system only during from morning 9 to 6, okay, or per day 12 hours, you will end up paying around 1,600, uh, yeah, around 1,700 rupees per month, because in the cloud it is pay as you go, pay for what you use, right? So if you go for reservation, it will be even more cheaper. Okay, but let me talk about this one now. That all those points can be discussed later. I don't want to confuse you guys. So I will select B2S. I'll select this queue. See, as soon as I select the B2S, it says I have got 2 vCPU and 4 GB memory, and this will cost me 3,400 rupees per month. Okay, then it is asking me to enter the username and password. See, normally in the on premises, the super user is administrator, but that administrator, if I mention administrator, see, it will tell you the username cannot contain the special character. Username must not include the reserved words, because this word called administrator is reserved for the Microsoft. So you cannot use a word called my administrator in the cloud. Okay, what you can do instead, you can have local admin or administrator. See, or local admin or local administrator, local administrator. Okay, and see, it is now fulfilling. And the password you can set PASSWORD at the rate 123, PASSWORD at the rate 123. It is your wish. Okay, it should have minimum 8 characters. It will have alphanumeric. Okay, it should have a special character. That is the reason I have put capital P, rest all small, PASSWORD at the rate special character 123 numbers. So my password has got all the password complexity involved. Okay, it has got special character, it has got small letter, capital letter, and numbers, everything is there. Okay, so I have given that password, and it is asking me whether you want to enable some rules, inbound outbound rules. Okay, see, this machine is not here. This is, I'm building somewhere in the Western Europe. I don't know which region it is, I mean which place it is in Western Europe, but in the zone 2 data center I'm building the VM. So if you are not enabling the ports, how will you establish the connection from my computer at Bangalore and the which is the server which is getting built in the Western Europe, right? So that's why what I want to do, I wanted to enable few ports, okay, to take the RDP, means to connect to this server by remotely. I can take RDP, and if I want to access some browser like Google Chrome or something internet, I'll put HTTP and HTTPS. So these three ports I will enable for now. Okay, next if I click on, it will ask you the disk. See here, it is asking me OS disk is 127 GB by default is there, and it's a premium SSD. Okay, fine. If you want to change it to the premium to standard, see premium SSD, standard SSD, standard HDD. See zone redundant if you want premium SSD. Multiple options are there, but let me go with the premium SSD whatever I get by default. And if you want the data drive, see you can click on the create a disk and attach it, and you can just select what size you wanted and you can create. But I don't want to create any data drive for now. I will show you separately that option, how can you create a disk and attach it. Okay, so now I'm good. Networking, see networking, now you see it got selected this VNet 01 which I created. VNet is important now because I'm going to keep this in the VNet virtual network, because I need to access this from Bangalore location to, because the server is there in Western Europe, but I need to access this from Bangalore location. So VNet is there. So subnet, let me select the same subnet. See subnet 0110.0.0.0.24. Okay, and it is asking me, would you like to have a public IP address? Absolutely, I need a public IP address because this computer is there in the Western Europe data center. If I don't have a public IP, I will not be able to log into this computer at all, because I use internet help to connect to this computer. So internet help means I should have a public IP. The public IP means which is available over the internet. I told you in the day one. Okay, you will have this available in the internet. So if you have a public IP, I can talk to your computer from my place if I have the internet. Okay, that's why I am creating a new public IP. Create one. I'll put test VM PIP01. See, the naming convention is very important. Okay, standard I'll put it. I'll select on OK. Now rest all is fine. You can click on management. I mean enable basic plan, all blah blah, you don't want it. Monitoring, if you want to enable log analytics, I don't need anything. Next. And then the tags. Tag you need to give. You need to give the application owner. Application is ecom and application owner is Sanju. Okay, so now you can go to the review and create option, and you can click on create a new virtual machine. Okay, so it is just reviewing, it is validating all the options, whether it has got the right name, right VNet, right subnet, and the right username and password, right SKU, everything it is validating. The first three blades, basic, disk, and networking, are very important. Management to review, if you don't have anything, not a problem. Okay, the first three blades, like basic, disk, and networking, is very important. Okay, now the validation got passed. Now let me click on create. Now the deployment is submitted. Now you know there are two types of deployment modules in Azure. One is legacy, okay, the classic. Another one is ARM, Azure Resource Manager. The one which we are using latestly, that is ARM, Azure Resource Manager. Okay. Now I have submitted the deployment. The VM is getting built now. See, the deployment is in progress. If you want to see that what all things are getting deployed, you can go to that resource groups, that RG test-RG01, right? You go to that test-RG01 here, go to the resource group, and if you go to the test-RG01, you see here deployments. Click on this deployments and see VNet has got something got deployed. Okay, previously. Now it is creating a VM. See Microsoft Windows Server 2022. It is creating. So it will take some time. See now if you look at, I have deployed this, the VM got built actually. If I go to the resource, right, test-VM01. So before I go to that, let me go to the RG, because when we built the resource group, it was the empty resource group. Now if you look at, there are multiple resources are there. See here, everything related to the test VM only. See, my test -rg01 has got test VM01, my virtual machine, test VM01 NSG. NSG means it is network security group. That means the computer which has got, right, it has got a firewall. Two levels it has got a firewall. One is within the operating system you will have a firewall. Another one is called network security group. This is a filtering option where you can create inbound and outbound rules. You can control what traffic should get into the computer or what traffic should go out of the computer. That you can apply two level. One is at the VM level, subnet level. Another one is network interface card level. Okay, so this is the NSG and public IP created. See, everything is a separate resource. Everything is cost here. In the cloud, everything is cost. That is why it is everything is coming as a separate resource. Okay, see, and this is the network interface card, and this is the disk, the operating system disk, and VNet. Why we create this separately in our resource group means, if you want to delete something related to this particular application, you can straight away go and delete this resource group. Okay, and all the resources which are inside this resource group will be getting deleted, and you will not touch the others. If you don't create the resource group, if you simply dump everything, imagine when you have 10,000, 15,000 resources, it is not very easy to select each and every item and delete it. Or if you want to do move from one subnet to another subnet, or one VNet to another VNet, or one resource group to another resource group, or one subscription to another subscription, it is very hectic job. That is why, to keep it in a standardized and well organized structure, this resource group is very important. Now let me go to the virtual machine here and see if I have a virtual machine created. Yes, if you see here, my virtual machine is, it got created test-vm01. It's a virtual machine. It's in free trial subscription. It is in the test-rg01 resource group. It is in the Western Europe location, and the status is running. It's in Windows operating system. It has got a standard B2S size, and it has got a public IP 51.124.185.44. Why I given the public IP? Why? Because I wanted to connect to this computer from my place, from the Bangalore. Okay. If I go to run and type a command called mstsc, Microsoft Terminal Service Console. Okay. If you put this public IP here 51.124.185.44, and if you click on connect, see, now I am connecting to the computer which is there in the Western Europe. See, it is asking me the username. I've given local administrator. Local administrator. If you remember, I have given the password at the rate 123. Okay, see, password capital P, rest all small, at the rate symbol is there, 123 is the number. So it has got password, case sensitive, everything. It's all the password complexity is involved. If you click on OK, now you see, I think it is.
Sir, remove R. Over there, you have missed the spellings.
Is it?
Yeah.
What was it actually?
Local administrator. R was missed.
Local administrative R,
Sir,
after T, this R.
remove R. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. PASSWRD at the rate 123. Yes, you are absolutely right. Thank you so much. So what I'll do, I'll correct that now. Okay. So now you see, I have connected to this VM by sitting at my home in Bangalore, India, and I've connected to the machine which is there in the Western Europe. How it is possible? It is possible because I have the internet, and it is possible that this computer also got the public IP attached. Since this computer has got the public IP attached, I am able to log into this computer which is there in the Western Europe data center. Okay, this is how the cloud is interesting. This is the beauty of cloud. Okay, now let me check the user account, local user local usr mgr.msc. If I go, that usr, that spelling mistake was there, right? Let me correct that. See, you are absolutely right. So I'll create one more user account, new user, local administrator, local administrator, correct? Password is same, password at the rate 123, password at the rate 123. Okay. Now user must not change the password, create it. Now I'm good. See, I have one local administrator, another one administrator. Okay, so we are good. So now you can see I have connected. I can even browse the internet from here because I've allowed HTTP and HTTPS now. So I'll show you that also to you. See, see, I am able to browse the internet now. See, this is how easy the cloud is in the, I mean, any cloud for that matter. Okay. So with that, I think we have built the virtual machine, and I have explained you today the resource group, VNet, and all the steps that has got with the VM creation. Okay, and how to connect. Another way is there to connect. Okay, if you don't want to go to MSTSC, just open this, click on this VM, and you see here resource group is a connection option. I'll come to that point later. 1 second. See, if you want to see the details of the VM in the overview, it will, you can see the overview. See here, test-rg, your resource group, location is Western Europe, and zone 2. See, zone 2 I've selected now, and subscription is this one, availability zone 2, and size operating system, size public IP. And if you want to see the normal internal IP, you can come and see here. See, your private IP is 10.0.0.4. Okay, so now if you want to connect, you can click on connect here. You will, this file will get downloaded, and you have to double check on it. See, download the RDP file. See, something got downloaded, test-vm01 RDP. Double click on it, it will directly connect you. Administrator PASSWRD at the rate 123. See, I logged in. See, this is how you can connect to the virtual machine. Okay, so with this, I think we can stop for the day. So tomorrow we will try to create one more VM and see how can you communicate between two VMs, and a few other things related to the virtual machine can be discussed in tomorrow's class. So I'm stopping the recording for now. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.
Sir,